5-183, my representative Fulton.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This particular bill, I was here last year with, and I was a little bit upset with the Department of Transportation because I asked for, down in South County, we depend a lot on tourism. So the summer months of the year, we ask that the roads be mowed, and you have the middle of the roads on Route 1 where people going to the beaches in the Tunic or East Tunic, and those areas, even down to Narragansett. This is also something that I know that Representative Carson will probably get up and speak about too, because she had the same issue in Newport's coming off the ramp where the grass was growing. I simply asked if there was a possibility that we could get some type of a schedule from the Department of Transportation. I have constituents who care about South County, what it looks like, and when the grass is growing high, I have constituents who call me a lot. And you never knew that grass was so important to people, but it does look shabby. It does detract from tourism. We want those dollars. That's a big part of the state economy. So I had asked, I don't know, probably sometime in February for a schedule. And from the liaisons who take care of the legislature, I didn't get anything. I asked for it again. I didn't get anything. Then I finally got a piece of paper, which I actually handed around last year. I was trying to remember to bring it today, but it was pretty much a picture of, I don't know if you can see it, it was a list of a whole bunch of roads in Rhode Island, and, pardon the text here, a bunch of roads in Rhode Island with nothing written on them, no schedule, no nothing. Then it was another page, and it talked about an area that's not in my district. I think it's like Route 403, and it says completed, handwritten and completed on 5/21/18. So that was after 3 months of waiting for a schedule of when the lawn mowing and grass cutting was going to be done. That's what I got from DOT. That's when I generated this piece of legislation, saying that it's understandable weather can make it not as accurate as every day that they're going to be there. I understand that part of it, but there has to be some type of a schedule that we know when grass is going to be cut. And that's what I'm asking for here. And I think other people would agree with it. The times that you're looking and you're saying, could they have mowed that? Should they mow that? Are they coming soon? Aren't they coming soon? I know Mr. Rockley just gave me a map here this was about street sweeping, which is another important aspect of the roads and what it looks like out there. But instead of just a map of it, I think that this is something that once they have a schedule, that it should be posted, the public should be able to see it. If you send it into your Department of Public Works, that they're able to post it, that the roads are going to be posted. I think that's part of what we pay as taxpayers, and that that's what we're getting from DOT, that you can visually see out there, not just the road construction, but you see them working on the side of the roads. And it's just, again, it's so important to the economy of the state, especially in the summer months, that we keep the roads looking trimmed up and we know when they're coming. So that's what the genesis of this particular bill was. And again, I just think that we need to get a schedule from the people in maintenance and hand it out to each of our cities and towns so we know when this is going to be done. I don't think that's too much of a stretch to ask for. Thank you.
Questions, Representative Fulton?
One brief question. I look at the word all landscaping and mowing laws. I see landscaping, and I hope that means litter pickup too.
That can include that too. The DOT does do that, and they work with the prisons. So yes, landscaping would fall under that. Or if you have a town that you have something. I know in Narragansett they had one of the new sand salt sheds that was put up, and then landscaping took a while to do too. So that could be qualified under that too. That's what I was kind of thinking about. But yeah, litter pickup is on there too, because that's part of the road cleanup too. That's
and the only thing worse than seeing all the litter on the road is seeing litter on the road that's been run over by a lawnmower.
There you go. Yes, so you have 1,000 more pieces of litter
Exactly.
to pick up. Absolutely.
Representative Fulton?
Yeah, this would be a new person question, Representative. So is the fact that we can't get a schedule from DOT makes us think that there is no schedule, and part of this legislation will have them create a schedule and then follow it?
That's a very good point. Representative Caldwell, I think you might hit the nail on the head. I think there's going to be some type of a schedule, but let's hold them to it. I mean, let's make people accountable for their jobs and that they are working to get things cleaned up. in the state. That's all I was asking for. I was very, very frustrated. I was very, very aggravated. I can tell you, I was sitting there emailing my constituents saying, I'm sitting right now, I'm putting that legislation in again and letting them know that I'm working on their behalf and trying to get this accomplished. With that.
Questions? Representative Costa.
Once again, I'm really happy that Representative Fogarty put this bill in because she and I did work on it for the past 2 years together. I had actually drafted it last year, but then she took it over and she put it in. And I get complaints from constituents about grass cutting in Newport all the time. And I did the same exact thing she did. I called and asked for the schedule. I never got a schedule. To answer your question, I do believe there is some kind of a schedule. I understand it's restricted by the weather and it's restricted by moving the equipment around the state. Okay, so I understand that. There's probably a limited amount of equipment because DOT doesn't have a chunk of money to go out and buy a ton of lawnmowers. I get that too. But there should be some kind of a general plan as to when they're on certain roads. The other problem is that if there's a piece of property somewhere in a municipality or a town where town road is next to or adjoining state road, and then the town comes and cuts their grass, then you have the state that hasn't been there maybe 3 weeks in the summer. So there's not even a coordination of that cutting of the grass, which is why maybe if the DPW people had these schedules, there could be some kind of a coordination, or we could at least begin asking for some kind of coordination. So that, I mean, in my community particularly, you come right off the bridge. It's the first thing that when you come off the bridge to go to Newport, or you come by First Beach, that's all state property, and the grass is all overgrown. Then, after I moaned about it for weeks and weeks, they came and cut the grass, but they cut around the sign, and they didn't trim, and it actually looked worse. And then I got complaints about that. I've actually had letters in the newspaper from constituents blaming me because DOT doesn't cut the grass. And as I always tell the departments, if they look good, we look good. And if they look bad, we look bad. So I asked them to cut the grass so that we could work together as one team, the departments, the legislature, and we can really make our communities look nice over the summer months. So I wholeheartedly support this bill, 100%. I hope you give it some serious consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Rocker, would you like to speak?
I apologize, I didn't sign up, but yeah, I just found out that this was on the agenda yesterday. I tell you, I was here last year, I committed to providing you a schedule. I do have an example of a schedule, and this is exactly what South Peak Sound. It has the months color-coded, the roads, it's a map. We had it in Tyler format, very difficult to read. I think our pictures were 2,000 roads. You go, okay, we're doing the roads in April. This is the sweeping. We plan on, if everybody's okay with it, I need to contact the rep prior to this. I can tell you, it's not as easy as it was. We had all the maintenance districts. This is just one maintenance district. We had to do segments. I put it in GIS. They're working on it for months. All the information here is just a matter of presentation and how,
This bill is all about mowing the lawn.
Yeah, this is an example of street sweeping, mowing the lawn and litter, and I think there was, I thought they were sweeping the lawn too, but maybe not. But mowing the lawn, it's just, we can do this. Order of roadways, just very, very difficult to give you a schedule in advance. It's like asking for our plowing schedule. You know, in the fall, we don't know when it's going to snow. We can tell you which routes we're going to do, when, who's going to do it. We can give you all that. We just can't predict how many times it's going to rain. If we have to mow 3 times, 6 times, when we're going to be out there. And if we do take a guess, put something on paper, the second we're off, you know, you said you're going to be on that road. Well, we didn't know it wasn't going to, rain for a month.
Again, there's nothing here about dates or anything like that. You can just say we're going to this road next.
Oh, absolutely.
This road after that. This is pretty wide open, so we can just use them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So if I could work with the sponsors and present information on format that they, so we have all the information. We put it in GIS system. It's just a matter of how they want to present it. And we were just thinking of just honestly putting it on our website as opposed to the disseminating. We can just refer people there. It's a simple way of doing it. And, it's I think it was a very good idea. And I apologize if you were not being listened to, communications isn't, I mean, it helps me, to be quite honest with you. And it does, you know, keep people from calling when, you know, just go to the website. It's just there. So a lot of good constructive comments from Sherry. Just want to let you know we were working on it, we did make some progress.
Okay, what would you say work? I mean, this starts in May. When do you start cutting the lawn?
We start, yeah, so we start probably, April, May sometime, we might start.
So I mean, you know, it really should be addressed before then, not,
Oh, I mean, we're ready to go. As soon as we come with a format that we like, the colors, the map, a way of presenting it, we're ready. We can have, for sweeping, we can have this on the website within days. And mowing, we can have everything.
we will revisit this in April, right? So-
Oh, okay. That'd be good. Oh, sorry.
Any questions, Mr. Rucker? Would anyone else like to speak on 5183? Sound concluding.